The Golden State Warriors have basically spent this offseason standing still, and maybe it's greedy to ask for more when Steph already has 4 rings, but as someone who appreciates watching the greatest point guard this game has ever known, I'm right there with Steph himself. I want him chasing championships, making memories, and playing games that matter until the day he finally hangs up those Under Armours for good. Remember, Steph Curry himself once said that he didn't want his career to end like Kobe's. And that wasn't a knock on Kobe at all. What it was instead was a message directed at the Warriors front office amid swirling rumors about Steph possibly leaving, urging them to get it together so that his final years wouldn't be spent merely filling seats based on his legacy, but rather competing for something meaningful. Since Steph made it clear last season that he wanted to remain competitive, the Warriors went out and traded for Jimmy Butler. At first glance, the details of the trade seemed like a super crazy bargain, especially for a player who once single-handedly transformed Miami into a team that nobody wanted to face come playoff time. It felt like a small price to pay to maximize every remaining second of Steph Curry's prime. But then you notice the 2-year, $121 million extension that Butler received after the trade, and it clicks. Alright, Jimmy's getting older and he wanted to be making $60 million a year at age 37. That's why he was relatively cheap.
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball.
His peace and his joy was his bread. And with how important money unfortunately is in our society, I feel that. He got his cake and the opportunity to eat it too. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous. He went from Miami, one of my favorite cities in America and an undeniable cultural melting pot, to the Bay Area, yet another vibrant hub of culture and easily another one of my favorite places. I've actually never been to the Bay Area, but it does look like a really chill place from what I've seen. I'm a huge Jimmy Butler guy. He's one of my favorite players, but would I have handed him the kind of money that the Warriors gave him? Probably not. I was convinced that he was chasing one final payday and ready to mail it in. But I can admit when I'm wrong, and at least on thinking that he was going to mail it in, I was wrong. Jimmy didn't coast at all. He took the Warriors to a level that we hadn't seen from them in a while, transforming them into one of the league's elite teams down the stretch. As great and as impactful that the addition of Jimmy Butler was, coming into this offseason, one thing was clear for Golden State, and that was that this team had a lot of work to do. With Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond all another year older, and a clear to-do list for this summer, it's fair to ask, now that we're already into September, what exactly have the Warriors accomplished this offseason? Nothing. But according to reports, that's all about to change. Although maybe not in the way that you're expecting. But before we dive deeper into that, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It all only takes a second, but it all goes a long way in supporting the channel. This message is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon's essential open earbuds give you crystal clear audio without shutting you out from the world. They sit comfortably outside your ear canal, meaning you can stay locked into your music or podcasts while still being fully aware of your surroundings, whether it's traffic, coworkers, or anything else life throws your way. The design is incredibly lightweight, making them super comfortable even after hours of use. Plus, their secure fit means they stay put, whether I'm getting up shots at the gym, taking a walk, or just grinding through my daily task or anything. Which, speaking personally, I love keeping my Raycons on while I'm shooting around at the gym. I never have to worry about them slipping out, and the sound quality always helps me zone out and get into my own world. With over 3 million happy customers, Raycon is already trusted by millions, and with their 30-day happiness guarantee, there's literally zero risk to trying them out. If you're still unsure, remember this. Raycons deliver premium sound that rivals top brands, but at about half the price. There's no need to overpay for great audio. Click the link in the description or head on over to buyraycon.com/GetLikeCoop open to score 20% off site-wide. Again, that's buyraycon.com/GetLikeCoop open. I want to give a huge shout out to Raycon for coming through and sponsoring today's content. Like I've been saying, it feels as though every powerhouse in the Western Conference has made some kind of dramatic move trying to shift the balance of power. But look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't even need to do anything. They're stacked, they're young, and they have a ton of talent. They're getting better every second that the clock ticks. We haven't even seen one of their best prospects and one of the best talents from the 2024 NBA draft, Nikola Topic, suit up yet. But don't worry, we'll be diving deeper into Topic, the Thunder, and everything in between soon, so make sure you're subscribed with those notifications on, because you won't want to miss it. To continue talking about the powerhouses in the Western Conference that upgraded, how about the Houston Rockets? They decided to push in some chips, bringing in an old superstar vet in Kevin Durant, who's still one of the most dangerous assassins in the league, and Şengün's also looked like a different beast in the Eurobasket tournament. My Rockets fans have been begging for a video, and I promise you that we will do one on Şengün and these Rockets very soon. And then there's Denver. The Denver Nuggets just landed arguably the best backup big man in the league in Jonas Valanciunas, and swapped out MPJ, who's had plenty to say this offseason, for Cam Johnson. That's another situation that we'll dive into soon. And then there's the Lakers, who continue to live life on easy mode, strolling through the offseason like someone who casually found a winning lottery ticket lying on the street. They've brought in former high-profile guys like Marcus Smart and DeAndre Ayton, and now have a transformed Luka Doncic. Skinny Luka is by far the scariest version of himself. I've already broken down Luka's incredible Eurobasket performances in another video, so make sure that you check that one out after this one to fully grasp just how much trouble that the Warriors and the rest of the league might be in. With all of this chaos and competition that has been unfolding around the league, again, you might be wondering, what have the Golden State Warriors done to keep pace to shift some momentum back in their favor? I'll say it again. Entering September, they've done absolutely nothing. Think about how wild that is. We've already witnessed Luka Doncic slim down, lock in defensively, and we've even seen him in competitive action, which came on the international stage. We saw that before we have even seen the Warriors make any meaningful basketball moves. All while this is going on, do you want to know what Draymond Green is doing? He's out here promising championships.
Great. We about 6 weeks out, right where I need to be, baby. And we're getting that this year.
And promising championships is something that he's actually done on multiple occasions this summer.
You think I can win another chip? Oh, that's happening. Huh? That's happening. Come on. That's happening.
I love that Draymond Green is branching out into streaming, joining the wave of NBA players who have continued to expand their reach via doing so. Like Kyrie Irving, who's actually a great streamer, but promising a championship at this stage of the Warriors dynasty when the team's offseason contributions resemble that guy who just signs his name onto the group project and then expects an A, that feels awfully bold. Steph saying this would be one thing, and even I think that would be a little crazy, but Draymond, I guess I love the energy, and then again, maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe the Warriors are cooking up something huge, because even Steph Curry has admitted that the Warriors need more than they have now.
It's different for sure, but my confidence is built on the identity we were able to create over the last third of the regular season last year. We have a really good team, and we do know we need some pieces to help get us to the next level.
So maybe Draymond really does know something. Josh Giddey was reportedly on the Warriors' radar, especially since the Bulls were hesitant about meeting his contract demands, and Golden State had a similar issue brewing with Jonathan Kuminga. If Chicago genuinely believed that there was untapped potential in Kuminga, then a swap between the two made a lot of sense on paper. Some reports have claimed that the Warriors' interest in Giddey was legit, while others suggest that it was simply a clever tactic by his camp to drive up his market value ahead of signing. Either way, the Bulls just signed Giddey to a 4-year, $100 million deal that is fully guaranteed and has no player or team options. But the Bulls committing to Giddey, at least temporarily, puts a hard dent in any Giddey to Golden State motion, and I think that sucks for Golden State. Giddey was recently the 6th overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft by the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of people thought that the Thunder finessed the Bulls in the Giddey trade, And with them winning a championship with Caruso being a very key piece, it's hard to argue against that. But I still view this trade as a win-win for both parties. Caruso was a dominant two-way force, while Josh Giddey, according to ESPN, just put up the second most triple-doubles in Bulls history with 7, trailing only the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. And overall, Giddey is coming off of a fantastic season in Chicago, operating as the engine for their entire offense. He averaged 14.6 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists. But after the All-Star break, with Zach LaVine being traded to Sacramento, teaming back up with DeMar DeRozan, which was crazy, he took things to another level. According to ESPN, from the All-Star break to close the season, he averaged 21.2 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 9.3 assists on 50% shooting and 46% from 3. And this was with him playing through a muscle tear in the palm of his shooting hand for the final month of the season. At just 22, Giddey gets plenty of hate for putting up so-called empty stats, but picture him in a situation like Golden State. This is the same franchise that transformed Andrew Wiggins from a labeled bust into an essential championship player. They could do something similar for Giddey, maximizing his strengths and filling a critical gap in their lineup. Steph Curry wore down in the playoffs last season under the sheer weight of carrying this team. Getting him a younger co-star who can facilitate, has legitimate size to offset his own, and possesses genuine star potential would be huge, not just for Steph, but for the Warriors as a whole. Ironically, Golden State had the perfect chance to draft that exact type of player in 2022 when they took James Wiseman over LaMelo Ball at 2. And again, narrowly missed on a similar opportunity in 2021 as Giddey went just 1 pick ahead of Kuminga. They also could have just drafted Wagner instead of Kuminga, something that a lot of people within the Warriors organization actually wanted to do. But Lacob, the Warriors owner, believed in Kuminga, so they went Kuminga. Relevant, but Lacob also refused to include Kuminga into a deal that would have landed Alex Caruso a couple seasons back. Spilled milk is spilled milk, I guess. Now, while Giddey coming to terms with the Bulls does put a dent in Giddey going to Golden State, Kuminga has wanted to go to Chicago for a while now, so that's very much still on the table. So you just heard, I was all for the Warriors getting Josh Giddey. What I am not here for as a fan of the New Orleans Pelicans, and I'm sure many of you already know exactly where this is headed, is even the slightest traction for Trey Murphy getting traded to Golden State. He's literally the only player whose departure would make me genuinely question if staying loyal to that franchise was worth it anymore. Considering everything that we've been through as Pelicans fans, that should tell you exactly how valuable that Trey Murphy is to me. Trey Murphy is in my header on X. We can't let this guy go. Trey Murphy might not be a prime Kawhi Leonard kind of player right now, but when it comes to a potential wing being Steph Curry, he might be the closest thing that we have going. After taking another monstrous leap last season, he's outgrown his role of being a fake 3-and-D player. And I say fake because his defense was never really that good. It was always sort of okay. But when you're as dangerous of a shooter, overall offensive player, and athlete that Trey Murphy is, and you're playing on a team that's as bad as the Pelicans, who cares if your defense is bad? He's more than capable of dialing in defensively once he's playing games that actually matter. Trey had a 60% true shooting percentage this past season, averaged 21.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, showing massive growth on the ball and as a playmaker. I'm not trying to see this guy leave. Me and the Pelicans haven't seen eye to eye on a lot of things, but it looks like we agree on their stance with Trey Murphy. Per Jake L. Fisher, the Warriors have had a strong affinity for Trey Murphy as recently as this summer, but the Pelicans have been playing Herb Jones level defense and deflecting every attempt that the Warriors have had for Trey Murphy away. Now, with how inept that the Pelicans have been, even with this coming out, I would usually label something like this still a situation to keep an eye on, but considering that New Orleans already pushed in their chips, including the better of their own or Milwaukee's 2026 first round pick, and a trade for a rookie big man out of Maryland, I think that Murphy's staying put for now and for the foreseeable future. Hopefully, Derek Queen is generational. But the point that I'm making here is that even if the season falls off the rails for the New Orleans Pelicans, they can't just tear everything down, because if they do, then they'll be giving the Atlanta Hawks the pick of a lifetime and what's about to be a very strong draft at the top. It's hard to tank when you don't completely own the rights to your own pick. The situation that the Warriors put themselves in this offseason is mad. Take a look at their current roster at the time that I'm making this video. It basically consists of about 8 players and a guy on a 2-way contract, but all I know is that the Warriors should have figured out their plans for the offseason a long time ago, because it's recently been reported that Al Horford and the rest of the veterans who had been in Golden State's waiting room were pleading for clarity, since apparently the Kuminga situation had been what had been stopping any moves from going down in Golden State. Imagine being a decorated vet and proven champion like Al Horford, stuck waiting around until September because the team couldn't even handle a situation for a guy that they didn't even want. This whole process has been crazy, and while I want to say that I'm glad that this isn't my team doing this, if my team had just one championship for its entire existence, let alone 4, and was doing right by its franchise legends, aside from what happened with Klay Thompson, I'd be kicking back in my recliner drinking a nice frosty root beer float, saying something super cliche like, you know what, it could always be worse. But that's not the situation that I'm in. Golden State, y'all accepting new fans by any chance? Actually, that would be wild. Becoming a Warriors fan right now, towards the end of the dynasty, that would definitely be wild. I'm just joking, guys. You all know I'm a Pelicans fan through and through, but seriously, let me know down in the comments what you think about this absolutely bizarre offseason that the Warriors have been having. Also, tell me who you'd be trying to trade for if you were in their shoes. And one last thing, let me know if you guys are enjoying these longer videos. Anyways, there's some more going on in the basketball universe that we have to be covering, so clicking one of the videos that's on the screen right now is a great way to support this channel. Get like Coop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.